Alright, so in this video we're checking out the new RunCam WiFiLink 2. This is their second generation OpenIPC video transmitter, and the camera sensor and lens is the same as the first generation. I'll show you the comparison to the first gen in a second, but they've changed the video transmitter parts quite a bit. It's quite a bit drastically different. So you get this in the box here. I did attach the antennas, so you do have to take this little screw out here and this little plate that holds down the micro FL connectors to the two antennas. They're pretty long, and I did attach those. You do get a bag of screws for mounting. I'll show you that here in a second, what to mount to. And you get a little Ethernet cable to obviously connect the, I guess it's the SoC, a camera sensor board, to your network, and then you can use the OpenIPC configurator to change your settings. And then this is the cable that attaches to the video transmitter, and it's a 6-pin cable. Go to your flight controller, but only 4 of the 6 are actually used for anything. I'll show you what I mean in a second. There's the manual over here. Now, I did do a video earlier on the first gen, and I have it installed here on this 7-inch. You'll notice that I've separated the video transmitter board, the Wi-Fi board, from the sensor board, I guess the camera SoC, whereas it was using these 2 brass standoffs before. Very janky setup, not very easy to figure out how to install this and everything. So you can, I'll link that video in the video description. You can check that out. You'll see what I mean. They have drastically improved this. It was quite, well, they were using basically off-the-shelf components that you can get pretty much anywhere. They're very generic, and they've basically created a custom board or custom pair of boards for this. I'll show you that here in a second. The sensor, the camera sensor, is the same as far as I can tell. It's the IMX 415. The lens and the case looks the same as before, so there shouldn't be any change in the image quality. Now you can see here that they've shrunk this down. It's quite a bit smaller. They have, it looks like one single board here, but it's actually a pair of boards, and they're actually fused together. So on Mario FPV's channel, he has a video where he took this apart. It's pretty easy to take apart, actually. You just have to take some screws, and I think these 4 here, you take the fan off, fan unplugs from here, and then you get board. You get the Wi-Fi transmitter board on top of the, I guess, the SoC board, and it looks like it's a single board, but it's actually 2 boards, like back to back, fused together. So basically, they've created 2 custom boards to shrink this down to a 25 by 25 millimeter mounting size. So you can see here on the bottom heatsink there are some M2 screws, and this is 25.5 millimeter mounting, standard whoop style mounting. And then I think the holes for the fan are 20 millimeter spacing, but these screws are like a 1.68 millimeter screw, so a little bit different. Not sure if you can mount to that, but I suppose you could remove the fan and mount it in your own way, or you can remove the heat sinks as well, but I'm not sure if that's recommended. You may burn out something. I'm sure the heat sinks are there for a reason. This is probably generating a lot of heat. In terms of the cable length from the camera to the video transmitter, it's about 120 millimeters. And in terms of the weight here, with the antennas, but no cable to the flight controller and camera, it's a little over 30 grams total. Just taking a closer look around the video transmitter. This is where that RJ45 plug goes in. It's a 4-pin connector. Plug this into here. This is to the SoC, and then the other side goes into your Ethernet connection to your network or to your PC or laptop. On the bottom side here, you have this 6-pin plug for this cable, and it should go in like this, yeah. So the power, I think, is all the way to the right, or is it this way? Sorry, it's this way, I think. Got it backwards. I think it goes in like this. Yeah, so looking at it this way from the bottom, you got your voltage on the far left, and then your ground. That white wire, I believe, is the RX on the VTX. That goes to the TX on your flight controller, and the gray is the TX. That should go to RX. And then you have a bunch of Looks like some solder pads here. You have your 4 here that correspond to those 4 wires. Voltage, ground, RX, and TX. And then you have some lights over here. And just looking at the manual, the link to this manual, it's a PDF file, is on the bottom of the product page, which is going to be linked in the video description. So if you're wondering where to get that, just shows you like how this is assembled. And those M1.68 screws. You have some M1.64 screws here for the top heatsink. And let's go down here. This is where I got those pin connections. So I believe the voltage range on this, I think it's 9 to 22 volts. Yeah, so here are the specs here. Same IMX415, field of view 160 degrees, and these are the different resolutions. It's 9 to 22 volts on this particular custom board that they built. The previous one was, I think, 9 to 30 volts. So just keep that in mind if you're putting this on a craft that is over 22 volts, like say a 6S, then you or possibly could burn this out. Probably will. So be aware of that. And then there's the different mounting holes. So 19 millimeter standard mounting for the camera, 25.5 millimeters for mounting the video transmitter, and then there's all the different weights and everything here. 25 grams without the fan. And here is a little diagram or chart that shows what the different lights mean. So there's going to be a red, green, and blue light there for those 3 LEDs. And here is what those lights mean. And then this is that 6-pin connector. You can see here you got your voltage, ground, RX, TX, and then the last 2 are NC, which is no connection. So I'm not sure why they have 6 there when 4 will be fine, but then the solder pads are only 4. Okay, so I got the Pixel Pilot app on my Android phone here, and I'm going to be using this is their receiver, the AC1200 USB receiver with the on-the-go cable. This is what I used previously on the old system, or the first gen system, and it's going to work in the same way. So it's just USB-C, plug it in here, and you get a message here says starting WFBNG on channel 161. That is the default channel on Pixel Pilot, which is also the default channel on the WiFiLink 2. So there's no settings that need to be changed to get video. You just have to find a way to power it. And I'm just going to use this XT30 connector here on this little same size pin plug there. I'm just using the power and ground only just to power it up. I'm not using the UART connections for the OSD. I'll show you that in a future video, not on this one. And I'm just going to plug a 4S LiPo in here. And we got the fan going there. This fan is much less noisy than the first gen one, and we should get video here pretty quickly. Got the lens cap off of here. I think it takes about 30 seconds for the video to connect. Got a light there now, showing that now we're connected and we have video. So something I've noticed is that we now have, let me put the lens cap over here. We have this on the, I guess, the Pixel Pilot app. This is a newer version of the Pixel Pilot app that I haven't shown since the last OpenIPC video. It says waiting for data on dev TTYS2, which is the UART, which obviously I don't have it connected to a flight controller. And so when it detects that, it should be able to know that there's a flight controller connected, and it will populate this with the OSD information. But obviously with no flight controller, you're not going to get any of that. And just to show you that, I think this is 720p video out of the box. So it's, as far as I can tell, it looks exactly the same as the first gen in terms of the image. The same lens, same sensor, so not surprising. But obviously the OpenIPC version that's on here, as well as the Pixel Pilot app, is a little bit newer. So that's why we have this new feature where it's actually going to, I think the OSD is going to work once I connect it up to a flight controller. Now the issue is, it's the same issue that I've had on the first gen one, is I can't fly through the phone. I've tried it on many different phones, even the latest models, the fastest ones with the 120 hertz screens. The latency is just a little too high for me, and typically latency doesn't bother me on most things. I can fly in high latency, so not sure what's going on here. Waiting for the VRX to come. They do have a VRX coming soon. I should be getting that shortly, hopefully within the next week or so. And then I'm going to obviously have that will output HDMI to my goggles, and hopefully that'll have the lowest latency, and I'll be able to fly through this. And I'll put this into something, probably something smaller, and we'll have be able to fly OSD and all that good stuff. And with a VRX and true goggles, we can then fly, actual quads with this system. That's what I've been kind of waiting for. So we have the RunCam VRX is coming. There's an Emax VRX is coming as well. I think someone is also making some goggles. So yeah, the things are moving along. We'll have some more flight-related stuff in future videos. So I just want to show you that this is working. Actually, you don't really need to do anything to get video out of the box if you're not flying with anyone else. You don't have to change any channels. I'll link the first-gen video down in the video description so that you can find out how to set it up and everything. It's exactly the same. Hasn't changed, although there is a OpenIPC configurator now, and you can use this network cable to connect to that. There's also a bunch of tutorials on Mario FPV's channel as well. You can check that out for additional information, as well as the OpenIPC wiki. Links to everything will be down in the video description, as well as where you can pick this up. This is like pretty reasonably priced, compared to like, Walksnail or DJI, for what you get here for a camera and video transmitter. It's roughly, I would say not quite half, but maybe like 60% of maybe a DJI 04 Lite. Obviously, this is still early days. There's no goggles or VRX yet as of the time of the recording this video, so it is a work in progress still, but things are progressing. This is a much better product than the first gen in terms of form factor and getting it into a quad. I think this will be definitely much appreciated for those of you that are looking to go into this OpenIPC ecosystem. And now we're into the sort of moving from alpha to like beta stages, I guess you can say. I guess we'll see. Anyway, there will be another video later with this and the RunCam VRX once I get that up and running, and hopefully I'll get to show you some flying footage with some actual goggles at that point. So that's going to do it for this video. Links again down in the video description to everything I talked about. That'll do it for this one. Talk to you guys in the next video.